Hello and good morning, and thank you for joining me here in my shop for what I think might be the last day with this radio. So I've just replaced the tone capacitor. That was the last wax capacitor. I just left it in there right up until now. So I have a new capacitor in there. And with that, I don't think there's any, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we still have these three replacement capacitors here, which I think I'm just going to leave them because I think everything's working fine. I don't really have any justification for changing them, so we're going to leave that like that and spend some time figuring out the logistics to installing this stuff back in here. Got speaker, got wires, got radio. I got the record player sitting in there already. Okay, and then we have to consider what this light looks like too. We get this whole thing installed and then look at the light and go, ooh, it's no good, it's too bright, it's too blue, or whatever it might be. So a few things here. I think the first thing is to work on the speaker. I made the speaker wire long enough, I think, and what I've realized when I took this apart, I found a bunch of the wires have been shoved way up in this corner here, very awkwardly. Meanwhile, there's a great big porthole here for the wires to go through, including accommodating this thing, this big plug. I'd like to go through the hole again, but then it would, I guess in the past, it would kind of drop. I don't know how it got from here down to the speaker, but the original board is gone. But you could assume there's another hole drilled here or something. That would mean you'd see this cable. I think the last guy didn't want to use the hole because if you looked to play the record, you would look in, you'd see this cable in the back kind of coming down like this. He didn't like that idea, so he hid it up at the front where you can't see. This is a hidden corner here, you can't see. So I think that's the idea. I'm going to want to do the same thing. You want to come off the back of the radio, down through the hole, slide over to the corner, and out. Did I make the wire long enough? I hope so. Okay, that's what I'm going to fool around with right now. I think I'm going to put the speaker in first and look at the wire, the cable rather. Okay, so I thought I'd deal with the ground wire and the antenna wire a bit, and this was all taped up in a bundle like this. I pulled the tape away, and what it's turned into is 3 pieces of wire. So we have probably the original coming up here. It's spliced onto this plastic insulated piece of wire, and then at the very end there's this curious bare piece soldered onto it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it all the way back to here. This wire's not, it's been poorly strain relieved, so you can see that it's moving right up onto the solder connection here. So this is probably not long for this world, and every time you move the antenna, you move this connection, it's probably shot anyway, or going to break off. So I'm going to cut all this away and put a nice red wire on there with a clip on the end. And maybe I'll do the same sort of thing over here. I'll shorten this up. The ground wire, I'll put a black clip. It already has actually a bare clip on it. I'll see if I can find a black one. So I've been working away on the antenna here, and I'm not sure how much wire I should leave on here. I'm going to put a clip on, and the idea is you clip it to an antenna to go further. But I started working on the ground wire. I just untaped what somebody had taped into it. I uncovered this unusual little metal piece here. Have a look at this. So I'm looking at this, I'm wondering, well, what would this be? It's not connected to the conductor in any way. When I turned it around and looked closely, it's got written on it GND, which is for ground. Listen, just marking the ground wire with this. Perhaps originally on the antenna there was one similar thing that said antenna, because both wires were originally similar, and they're not similar now. So it'd be kind of easy to get it confused. And then it's spliced here onto some other wire, and as I showed before, it ends in this. I think I might just cut it ahead of this splice here, put a clip on right here, and then you make both these wires similar in length with clips, and then they can be extended easily if necessary. The ground wire, where's it going anyway? It's not heading for a water pipe. Not heading for a water pipe. You know what? We should take a look at this. No, we shouldn't. This is tied right to the chassis here. Yeah, there's nothing to look at. Okay, what was he talking about? He's not even going to say. Not to overthink it too far, but I think this is kind of cool. I'm going to cut it here. I can make it maybe longer. I should make it long enough to come out the back and reach up on top of the cabinet. The idea being that in the future there might be a small loop antenna sitting on top of here, and you need the wires to come out and reach it. You know what? That's real easy. That's really easy. I don't need much wire for that. And the loop antenna I'm thinking of, the particular one I'm thinking of, it's called an AN100 or an AN200. Comes with a little piece of wire anyway. Okay, shorter is better. Yeah, if you want to extend the antenna, you just take a chunk of wire and clip it on the clip, throw the wire out. The rest of the time the wire can be put away. You don't have a bundle of wire hanging out the back of your radio. Okay, I've decided. Wow, tough decision. Okay, I think I'm ready to put this in the cabinet, and we're going to have a look at what this light looks like when it's on. Good. Get this knob off. Very good. Okay, I'm going to put it in the cabinet. Okay, ready for the first test of the light. The power's not on yet. The switch is on. I'm going to turn the power on from over here. And let's see what we get. Here we go. So it looks a little brighter in the camera than it does with my eye. Ooh. Ooh, what happened there? Okay, so did you hear and see that? There was a snap and the light flickered. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, we've done the test. The test was to see if the light was okay. I think the light's okay. The light can always be switched back to a regular kind of light if in the end that light just doesn't look so good. So okay. So I did just start this up without the speaker plugged in, and that in itself shouldn't cause any kind of problem. The radio won't operate. That's okay. That's enough to get the light going. I have no idea what that sound was. Okay. I don't know what to think of that. Unless it rears its head again, I'm going to ignore it because it didn't seem to have any consequence. Yeah. Okay. Attention needs to be turned now to the record player, which is currently sitting on the floor, and I have to put a new power cord onto that. So that's what's next on the list. Okay, so I'm going to put on a polarized plug because that's what I have handy. So that raises the issue, should I pay attention to where the grounded prong is really connected inside here. This probably came with a non-polarized plug. I can't be sure of that. It's all long gone. So we'll take a look at how, what kind of things they've done with the wires here. So if you look at the power wires coming here, and I know you can't really see from there. You could see if one of them is being treated like a ground. What I'd be concerned about here is making the tone arm come live, or the platter, or any of the metal parts up here. So if we look carefully, do any of these power wires touch this? Are they connected in any way to the metal here? So you can see them going in the switch here. They're just wrapped around here. They're not really coming out to go anywhere. The coming out part's all down around here. It's going into the motor. My guess is there is no connection between the metal here and the power wire at all. And so polarization really doesn't matter. Now what's going on in here? Do they have a little transformer to generate the power? Proper voltage? Excuse me. So I don't see any transformer here at all. There's almost nothing in this amplifier. So exactly how they've done the power supply here, I don't know. There's a big capacitor sitting here in the middle. Probably part of it. The power wires come over here. And this is not a very strong way of doing things, but you can see they just kind of have a slot here and slide these lugs up into it. So these are the two power wires. One of them is immediately connected to this black wire here. This black wire is heading over here. I mean, black, it usually says something. And black appears to come around just continuously and goes into the motor, of course. Disappears in the motor. Well, we could try this and that and get out the voltmeter and test it, and that would be a pretty positive way of finding out what's going on. I think that might be good, even to take ohm readings between the wires here and the frame and see if there's any connection between it. I think that might actually be the best way to do it. So I'm just going to stop for a few minutes here and drink some coffee, and then we'll do the test and try to figure out. In a lot of record players, the 60 cycle stuff is kept away from the platter and all that. It's not connected in any way. It's totally isolated, like it appears to be in this one. And then there's another wire that's tied to the deck here. This is called the deck. Soldered underneath or screwed underneath or something, somehow attached to the metal of the deck. And then that wire, wow, there's a big dent right here. You can see some of the paint is kind of flaked there. Wow, what would smash this down? Like, oh, I don't know how you get a dent there. Wow, that's interesting. So anyway, so the extra wire, be a black wire, usually has a lug on the end of it. That's the ground wire, supposed to go back to the amplifier, to the amplifier's ground or whatever. Let's call it ground. And then that makes sure that this has no hum voltage floating on it. Otherwise, if this piece of metal is just sitting here, it's not connected to anything at all, just like it is now, it's just sitting here, there's a signal inside here. There's a hum in here and other kinds of stuff. It's an antenna. And so you have this antenna operating very close to the wires that are coming to the cartridge and whatnot. You don't stop the hum in here, you could get the hum into the cartridge quite easily. So to stop the hum here, ground wire, over it goes. And it really does make a difference, for sure. I don't see any ground wire on this at all. So either there never was one, it's not needed, it's missing, I don't know. I guess on the final test, when we finally have this all back together, we can find that out. Okay, a little dissertation now for the coffee. Okay, let's answer this question. Is there a connection between one of the power wires and the metal of the record player? And I bet you there isn't. But I want to make sure. So we're going to clip this. Even that's a little challenging because of the paint on here. So, yeah, clipping is not the best idea. Maybe I'll clip it to the wire. Yeah, that's a better idea. Okay, so where's the power wire? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, I'll just pick one. And we'll hunt around. There's a little bit of bare metal right here. Nothing there. Sometimes the edge here is not painted. Any sudden This is a good spot here. How about that? Nothing at all. So, okay, that's one wire. And we're going to connect to the other wire. Is there continuity? Nope. 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 And I'm sure. Nope. And now we're just going to double check. Yep. Okay. So there's no connection here. There's no real reason to be concerned about the polarity of it from a shock hazard, but we still have to consider the hum hazard here, or the hummability of it. Often with these old devices with a non-polarized plug, back in the day the instructions were if you plug your thing in and it hums a bit, you want to pull it out, turn the plug and plug it back in, see if that cuts the hum down, and sometimes it did. And that's because of the whether it depends what you're. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain it. Don't explain it. So we're going to take another look at the wiring here, in case we can kind of anticipate. Stand up. Stand up. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. Reclining position is fine by me. So what we want to do here actually is get the other camera. I think is really what we need to do. Let's get that going. Where is it? It's staring at a green thing. Must be here. Here it is. Okay, all tangled up here. Just hang on. Okay, here we go. So we took a peek at this before. There. So the two power wires are these two here. This one and this one. And this is a wire, this one here. It's hard for me to point at it. The one in the middle here is an extension of this one. You can see it. I mean, you can see it right on there. Now, often on these circuit boards, the ground kind of runs around the outside, or it gets really wide. The grounded, like this area here, where this gets really wide. Sometimes that indicates that's a ground. There, not always, but there's nothing here really jumping out, screaming, "I'm the ground connection." The only thing is this double connection here. And the fact that it's a black wire leading away from it. And we could maybe even argue this one must be the one that gets switched somewhere. Where does it get switched? Okay, so I'm going to make this one the wide spade. And that'll be the grounded side of it. And that's the end of that. And I think it's probably without consequence. Anyway. Okay, I will get busy and get that done. see how this came out. The shrink sleeve I put on was a little big for this, but it's going to protect it nicely, I think. It's not going to slide up and down in that. Very good. Power cord is done. So from here, I think everything takes place in the cabinet now. Very good. Now I've put the speaker in. Oh, it's turned around the wrong way. Yeah, I've got the speaker in there already. Okay, good. Let's just keep working away at it here. You know what? I think coffee might be better. Yeah, I like coffee better. Yeah, so somehow I had it in my head this would just take a few minutes, but you know, just putting everything back in the cabinet. But actually, there's a lot of steps involved. So the next one is arranging the new speakers for the record player and making the attachment of the speaker wires into the amplifier. So I managed to hang on to the original connectors here. That's that and that, which are going to slide onto the board here. So I'm going to use those again. Just going to nip the wire here. Got a lot of junk on my bench. Uh-oh. Okay. Good thing I hung on to those. And that's good for sort of, you can think of it as the live wire. And the ground wire, and we'll make this these black wires, which you see they're both on the same terminal, so I'll get the speakers working properly. And this black wire is just going to go under this screw here and attach to the metal framework. That's how I did it before when it was in my shop on my own speakers. I think I need to make this a little longer here. Okay, I'll just twist this together. I already checked the length of the speaker wire. There's more than enough wire here. Okay, so those get twisted together, and then I'm just gonna solder these on. I'm gonna leave the wire on it here. Just solder them on like this. Okay, I will get that done. We're getting closer. Okay, speakers are ready. Got the ground wire and the two lead wires. I think the next step would be probably to look at mounting these inside the cabinet. Yeah, let's look at that. Okay, got the two, let's call them auxiliary speakers mounted in there. Now it's time to put in the record player. So the deal here is the speaker cord and the power cord are being pushed into the corner here. Do this. Good. Okay, so that's the radio power and the record player power cord. Now I just have to attach the speakers up here. And it's just about ready. It's getting there. Okay, I think I got everything in. Got the speakers wired up. Got the radio speaker plugged in here too. Got the antenna and ground lead hanging out here. Very good. Everything is ready for a test. And I'm going to go and eat my lunch first. Yeah, fantastic. Not my lunch. Okay, I think we're ready to give it a try. We're going to start with the record player. I'm just going to leave it. We're looking into the back of it right now. This is not what you would normally see, but it's too convenient for me to do it this way to not do it this way. I'm just going to release this. Okay. Here. No, that was tone, wasn't it? Tone, balance, and volume. Volume's turned down. That's what I think anyway. Okay, we're going to power this up. I believe I have to actually drop a record to get the amplifier to even switch on. So let's do that. There. There's no power supply to this just yet. Ooh, getting a little dusty there. Let's put this side on. Okay, I'm going to apply power. Nothing at all should happen. And nothing at all happened. Now we're gonna turn this guy on. I'm so nervous. These kinds of moments, they make me really nervous. Here we go. Here we go. Volume. Oh, I bumped the toner. Whoops. I'm only hearing the speaker. Wow. So, fortunate thing is that's as loud as it goes. It's not very loud. Oh, it turned itself off. That's the first time it actually did that. Well, functionally it functions. Functionally it functions. Is it a wonderful record player? Never was. Has it got enough volume? Barely. With it turned up full. But it was a bit of a lark to fix that guy up, just because it was here. So there we go. Now, next thing to test is going to be the radio. This is the important thing here. Okay, maybe you should come up a bit. We're going to do this from the front. And I've got something else I have to attend to for the next bit, then I shall return. Okay, another nervous moment for me. Will the radio work? Let's pop this open. It's something I noticed about a large record like this, actually. Just about hangs over. But you can still close the door if you care to while the record's playing. Now, interestingly too, when the radio's playing, you can't really close the doors, because if you did, you'd be closing off the speaker. So these are intended to be open, I guess, all the time when the radio's operating. Now, let me just make sure of things here. Okay, set is off. Excuse me. Band is for broadcast. I think this has to be up. The last thing I was doing was using Bluetooth. So first we're going to try the radio out. Okay, I'm going to put the power on. Nothing should happen. Nothing happened. That's good. Okay, now I get sweaty palms, everything. Here we go. I'm going to cut the light down in my shop while this is warming up.
About a motion the NDP introduced and then was debated and voted on not last night but the night before. It was about the Israel-Hamas war. It had 9 different things that the NDP was asking the federal government to do, the most contentious of which was recognize the state of Palestine, which isn't Canadian foreign policy, which dictates that Canada advocate for a negotiated state.
I see a lot of guys that are going to be, I mean, there's a decent chance that the best player in next year's draft, Colin, is going to be playing in the
Jay Powell's news conference. We got it live on Bloomberg Television and Radio. Right now, stocks are virtually flat on the day. 3-point drop in the S&P 500 index, now at 51.75, down less than 0.1%. Dow Industrials unchanged on the day. NASDAQ, the composite index, down 10, dropped there.
So this is picking up fairly weak signals. It's doing a really good job.
With the ministry. And yet, thinking when you look through scripture, you see how God called people.
Gotta be American. So these are low power, local community type radio signals coming up mostly from Toronto. Way up there. Good music station right here. That's 1580, I think.
Film américain, tout aussi qui sont en 1982. Personnellement, j'étais en secondaire.
That's Hamilton. Beautiful.
So from Cancun to
Hear the bass there? Notice the bass?
Weekend with high near +2. For today, the guaranteed high 1. Right now, we've got a mix of sun and cloud. It is +2 downtown.
Downtown Toronto.
tobacco for cannabis is just plain wrong.
What are your thoughts on how, what lies in front of him?
Yeah, look, I don't know Anthony the way Scott does, but
if you believe in the philosophy, if you don't change a winning lineup, do we see Sean Couturier in a Flyers uniform against
Small business loans to make your projects a reality. Could get up to 35 centimeters of reduced visibility. Windy today, a high of 0, -5 tonight.
When a guy is not expecting it.
Yeah.
And that's, and the most important of all, to create.
Okay, lovely, excellent, short wave. Here we go. We're starting at, I have a hard time seeing that. It's darker in here than it might appear. 6 megahertz, and the high end's over here. So we're going to go from low to high. And again, we'll probably start picking stuff up in this kind of area. Let's see what happens.
Something they want to hold to and they don't want to let go. So it's awesome, It's not that men...
Before the coming of the great and terrible day of the Lord, and he will restore the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers.
Teletype.
And Elijah the prophet, as we know, came to, herald in the word of God.
Pese a las múltiples carencias que afectan al pueblo, no escatima en recursos, tanto humanos como financieros.
If the hand looks at the ear and says, because I'm an ear, I have no need of thee. Now, that's in the Bible. He might have used a different body part, but that's enough. Because you see, he knew some people was going to say,
útiles consejos. Las señales de Wi-Fi no son más que ondas de radio que transmiten digitalmente toda la información concerniente a la ley.
I'm not rebuking you, I'm talking to the spirit of power, the spirit of depression, sadness, despair, and hopelessness. That's your name. I command you to get away from this woman in the name of Jesus, but she's God's property. You don't rent there, you don't sit there, you don't squat there. This is God's property. In Jesus' name. I also say to you, Naomi, look how many people there are in the world, and you're one of a handful of God's chosen sitting here in the present day mentioned. So you're the chosen of God. No reason to be depressed, sad, or feel hopeless. You have something that
are not different from each other. When he said the Father and I are one, which is of course in John chapter 10 and verse 31 or something like that. Let me check it out here. Verse 30. Okay. Some people think, and now these are, these are not necessarily Jehovah's Witness people. Now, Jehovah's Witness people
Dirty.
say this, but some Christians who believe, as I do, in the deity of Christ, will still say this, that Jesus can be saying that he and the Father are of one accord, that they are on the same of the same mind about what he's saying, and things like that, because it is.
Excellent. Okay, so the next thing to test is what about Bluetooth? And I'm going to turn the lights right out in my shop here. Take a look at what this radio looks like with the. Now that's almost all the lights. Very, very low lighting in here. So I'll tell you, that looks fantastic. It looks a little different with my eye when I'm looking at this. That's fantastic though. I love it. It's really good. Good show on the light. Okay, gonna get the Bluetooth going, and that'll be the last thing. And of course, I can't do too much Bluetooth, or I'll get a copyright hit, and I don't want that to happen. Great. Where's the light switch?
Confusing. And the reason it's confusing is I believe in some respects it's above our.
Ready for the Bluetooth
I believe
test.
In some respects, God just wants us to recognize you don't understand everything.
Okay, I'm going to turn the volume down. We're switching over to the Bluetooth is running. It's plugged in the back. Okay, Bluetooth happening. Now, I can't play any more than about 8 seconds of copyrighted music, or the YouTube algorithm will catch on. So this is Harvest Moon, in case you can't recognize it. Let's listen again. Just listen for the bass and the treble. Try and hear the extremes. Are they there? So, of course, I'm in the room here, and you're not. So I can tell you, here in the room, I heard some very, very low bass come out of there. Actually, pretty impressive. And likewise, bright sound, lots of treble. Sounds fantastic. That's really what it amounts to. Let's see if I can do a little trick here. I'm going to take the YouTube video, and I believe I can change the speed of it. Playback speed. I'm going to change the speed to slow it down to, this is now 75% of its normal speed. Let's see. Now the interesting thing about this is that the people's, like the pitch of the music won't change. And you do this on a YouTube video, the pitch doesn't change because they're not slowing it down. They're chopping out little pieces of it and then, you know, concatenating what's left, and that's how they're shrinking it. So the pieces are running with the same tone. Feeling the YouTube algorithm can't find that, but if it does, I'll have to chop it out after the fact, which is a big hassle for me. Hope that's a little experiment on my part. So listen again now. Listen for the bass. I know you're listening through my speaker, my microphones and everything, but music's kind of quivery, and I guess that's probably the effect of slowing it down. That's not something wrong with the machine at all. Well, I think that really shows this up to be a great little radio now. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm just looking for something else we could play here. But no, I can't find anything offhand. It won't get me in trouble. Unless... yeah, I better not try it. Okay, so that's it. So AM works, shortwave works, the record player works. Okay, record players can't, but the radios really come through great. So thanks a lot for watching the entire series, if you've done that. And I'm going to be on to the next thing. The next thing is 3 small radios, one after another. Great. See ya. I stopped it. See you again.